I'm the user Henshin, and welcome to Let's Talk CosPlocks. That's right, for anyone new to this show, or this is your first time seeing this, basically this is a little relaxing series of which I can talk anything from cosplay to anime to anything media-wise. But today is a very special episode because here I'll mostly be discussing about the last episode I've seen called Kamen Rider Build. Sorry for a second, I totally forgot about it. It's literally minutes after I watched the final episode, and you may be curious about to say, what is your thoughts? What do you like it, Jackson, or you don't like about it? Well, let me ask you, by the magic of a certain person's magical shirt. I don't know. Oh, I don't know what it could be. Is it yes, no, is it? No, actually it is. No, I actually like it, and it was a great finisher to it, and oh man, how much of a finale it was. But now, as just like any sort of that's one thing I mentioned is if you want to see my previous 3 episodes of Let's Talk CosPlocks, I'll put the link down here below. In my second episode, had a guest, was an interesting one, so I hope I have more guests along the way. As usual, I do these shows is I sit down and talk. But but first things first. Especially wearing this coat. But one thing as actually liking Build, and I actually got myself a collectibles. You may have already seen it during my my top women tokusatsu. If you look close, obviously look at the top corner, you obviously see the said collection. You obviously see. And here's the said collection. And of course, like in the opening, the title card for the thumbnail for this one, also got the rubber tank sparkling, and of course, it shakes like so, and the can. Probably it's a random show, but you press this little click right here. It says the name like so. The problem is that this thing, you give it a couple shakes until there's a luck function to this, but it's going to take some time. Just like so. So there's many cuts later, but of course I'm going to cut that down later on. So that's all of that, and also in the background as well. Of course, I think I mentioned in my later video, earlier videos, I got the, of course, finally got the cross dragon and thing, and of course I'm going to need to put this thing on. And just like any sort of shows, if you press the button, play some tunes, and if you play around the levers. That's where you put the bottle in and press the button. And there's a little catch right here as you move it up. Of course it'll take some time. And of course there's a little pin right here that's obviously for the build driver. And I'll just turn this off. And the thing obviously displayed at the top, which I'm so psyched about, is the of course the steam rifle gun. And of course I've got the 2 collectibles. Of course I haven't put batteries in this because of course stigmata, and of course easy enough to remove. And just like the the brake gunner, this is awesome, but it's funny enough, it's of course it's a toy and it's just barely can't fit over the little finger. But interesting thing about this with the blade, it was a shame because it's obviously small and it would be longer, because the thing is that so far I got these ones, but there's 3 more things I need to get, because so basically I need to, obviously of course I need to get my, well, how else, what makes it interesting about these 3 in particular ones I'm going to get, of course I'm talking about the build driver, the slush driver, and the Nibbler steam gun, or rifle together, hopefully enough, is that those 3 together I'm going to make steampunk versions of it, because I'm going to use them 3 in particular for steampunk uses. But not just well, of course, come along with the build driver. Of course, I need the rubber tank full bottles. And speaking of those 2 such bottles, I need to present you my so far collectibles of my full bottles. And here's a little gallery seeing it. As so far, that's the full bottles I've collected, but However, I literally bought myself the last few full bottles on the collect so far. So far I've ordered the bottle set of W, which is detective and slashing. Not gonna have the USB full one. The magnet one minus the card. The unicorn and eraser, the ghost and pucker, but minus the pucker, and that's the only ones I'm gonna get. So, but there are some future ones, but like there's the lost bottle sets, but some few of them I'm not gonna get the gold and black versions. I'm only gonna get the silver and purple ones because of them. I already got like bat, cobra, castle, and owl. But you see the picture right here. Here's the diagram of what ones I need to get. The 4 particular ones, because especially the stag beetle one. That's surprisingly that's the most expensive one, and being sold out. We expect, especially when I complete the full Hokkaido trio set. So before I crack on with more getting right into the last episode of build. Oh, okay, that's one thing as well is throughout this special episode, I'm going to talk complete spoilers, because if you are interested in watching build, if you are indeed a Kamen Rider fan, definitely was worth a watch. So go ahead, watch it, all 49 episodes. So let's start off with drinks of my own. Of course, I'm basing these drinks on a meme, but so far I can see like 3 of them. There's I've seen one with for Genius, but we don't have. I don't think we have that in the UK. So so far I got 2 bottles of my own. So we got Pepsi and Diet Pepsi, and of course got Max and Pepsi ready. And although I'm not going since it is a bar alcohol thing, of course I've got myself some in substitute for Genius. I'm going with stick with vodka. So now. This is obviously cheap and cheerful at the supermarket. This one. So my first one is going to be Pepsi, which is which I call it the rabbit tank drink. So first off, let's do. Hang on, we've got to judge the volume. Hang on. Whew. Some vodka. Let's see. Funny enough, think of it. This is chemistry. Even though Seto is a physicist. Okay, that's a quarter away. Next one is the Rabbit Tank sparkling drink. So we'll put this a quarter of it. Yeah, that'll do. Actually, let's pour this one to this one because the next one is gonna be that's a point actually because I don't know how potent this vodka is. And the last one is going to be the Black Hazard, or probably I should say the Black Hazard with rabbit or tank version, so who knows. Okay, let's put that away because I'll see it later on if I find a particular drink to mix it with, or who knows. So let's start off with Pepsi. That's one thing I'm a bit cautious about these drinks, is whether or not these things will be shooken properly. This one I can fill right at the top, or I can always dampen it down with more drinks. I'm not sure how much I drink, but let's talk it through it. So, okay, cheers for the first drink. Actually, cheers to this, to the, thanks very much for the 49 episodes of, another awesome year of Kamen Rider. Yeah, very minimalistic, so that's good. Actually, let's pull the other one step up just to be sure. Yeah, yeah. As I explained, is that I didn't do my first impression of build because of I made the X8 Final Thoughts beforehand. I was about to do it until I mentioned in a later video that thanks to my laptop playing up, I wasn't able to give because I was really that depressed and low. Which minus aka no first thoughts to build. But hopefully in this episode I'm going to actually talk about build in entirely. I won't have to worry about predictions and whatnot, which I might have talked to. So hang on, this is the second one. So this is the Rabbit Tank Sparkling, and this, let's see, thank you very much as the first one. Second one is okay. Second one, this is to the cast for Kamen Rider Build. and of course I'll be talking to you guys later on, which I think each of one of you, especially for one particular actor or actress, so who knows. So cheers to you. Thank you much, guys. Cheers to you. There we go. This is quarter weight. Oh. Okay, now you definitely tell the vodka in that one. That's rich because I've got to make dinner very well. Got times like what, just before 4 o'clock. So let's crack up this one. This is basically the Max Hazard drink, and of course this is halfway. And don't, if it's going to be too potent, and also you have to put more of that drink in. So let's see, third drink. You know what? I don't know, I got an idea what this third one will go to. So see, thanks for the series itself, thanks for the cast. Now I think I'm going to give a toast to the crew, especially the person who directed it, who especially made a good balance for this series between both for the children and especially the more mature audiences, especially the dealings with like politics and war, that sort of thing, and especially when we talk on that one as well, especially one episode. So here's to this. Oh, I'm afraid of this. Oh, and that's why I said Black Hazard for that one. So let's stick with the much more lesser one, back to Rabbit Tank. So, what are my thoughts about my expectations going through Build, what you will say? Well, oh sorry, don't worry, I'm wearing shorts, so don't worry. You will see a bit of my my hairy ass legs, so who knows. So, I'll be rich on how drunk I'll get through this. And don't forget, I'll be editing this after once I'm done with this and make dinner. So, and that's rich because I've still got like show pictures or whatever randomness I can show in my editing skills. Don't worry. Tonight I'm having nachos, and it's gonna be good. Some absorbing dinner, if you know what I mean. So yeah, my expectations of Build when I first watched it. I had pretty much high hopes about it. It's interesting concepts, especially like the mixing the two. Of course, it's something straight from Kamen Rider W. One of my favourite Kamen Rider series, which I really like to get back and watching it, because I need to watch it again, especially with next week, sorry, is Zio. And now I'll talk a bit of it before, because I'm going to talk about Zio pretty much after I talked about everything about Build so far. That's rich, because next week is obviously going to be my first thoughts on Zio. So yeah, my expectations. I really like the idea of mixing together with like organic and inorganic items. That's good, because W is more like just a few, like mostly it's just 6, but there's a few combinations sort of thing, which can later for O's. Sheesh, O's. I remember there's that one particular special one when the Inji's actor did like a little special, and so like he had to go from set to set to say all the particular combos, and like exercising. He's like puzzle tough, and it's like so forth, and it's like, oh bloody hell, because funny enough, O's is like the most highest form combinations there is. So of course, further on from O's, we got like more series as we use like future combinations, and of course, just like in Build. Let's see, we're talking about the hero. The hero himself, Build. I definitely like, of course, I said the combinations, but especially his forms. Rabbit Tank Sparkling is definitely one of my favourite upgraded forms. Let's see, the super form that is Hazard, or Black Hazard, which will soon be sort of interpreted with Rabbit and Tank, which has a really good outfits, and I especially do like that transformation. Is like, especially when Build's like going to point, it's like leg, arm, helmet, head, and down. I really like, that's one of the coolest transformation sequences. It's gonna be a pain in the ass, especially for the the crew who's gonna do the special effects, because yeesh. Let's say Genius form. I really do like the Genius form. However, then what makes Genius interesting? It sort of make me have an idea for what I'm gonna be using that reference for a certain project down the line. So yeah, and of course, let's see. Next we've got Cross, which of course first we thought it will be close. And of course it simply becomes cross with a Z. Of course, dragons is my thing, and of course, my egg timer right here, due to the timing, of course, it features dragons, and I'm, of course, such a dragon nerd. Of course, I'm not gonna like it, and of course, Claw's first form is awesome. It's got that blue, orange, yellowish, and blue mix, and of course that, I don't know, something about blue and yellow mix is a very striking image. Because we've got the cross change, which is alright, but not as bad. But of course we come to cross magma, and Dragon Magma is just an awesome form, and not only that, it's also how the transformation sequence is awesome, and of course the appearance is awesome. I would love if they would actually done like a cross magma version of like blue flames, and I'd be like, oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, that'd be an awesome design. And of course, what was the name? Was it Great Cross? I think it was. It's just basically a reskin of Cross's base form. There's that. Next one we've got is surprisingly Rogue. Rogue's design I freaking love. Especially the transformation sequence, the henshin scenes. It's, just like the idea. It's like that. You see the pastry cup, and then of course you've got these two pillars, and like crack it, and you see his helmet, and it's like crack, and the crack features on his face. It's like, I love it. And of course his rider kick is awesome, especially like Jaws, and it's like crank, crank, crank like that. Funny enough. He doesn't have any other forms, but I'm going to talk about that later on. Grease, his first form, his Grease form, it's good, but I do like how the way he does his kick, especially his shoulder blades form like a jet firing from behind. And of course, we got the Grease Blizzard form, and only featured in 2 episodes, and which I'm going to talk very shortly about the actor. It comes shortly. Other heroes, I think that's it so far. The villains now. Let's see, we have the Gear Brothers. I do like, Rimacon Gear's little standby tune, that's cool. The appearances with the Gears, and that's really cool. Oh, that's one thing I've got to mention about Bloodstark and Rogue. One thing sure is I definitely love Night Rogue's design, which running off that sort of be used later for when it comes to Mad Rogue. But I kind of like Mad Rogue's sort of helmet design, especially the bats thing. But although I do miss the whole bat visor sort of thing. But one thing I do like about it is the henshin sequence, especially again, this is spoilers. Utsumi's transformation is like you see the tubes like scattered, and when he said henshin, and it's all strummed like a little ball, and it's gone crazy, and of course makes the appearance. But one thing is makes the appearance awesome was Evolt, as Evolt, and his form is the Evolve form, and just one thing, that appearance is awesome. The one thing I think I'll have to talk about the opening, the song, the music later on. But just that appearance is awesome. But one thing I love the most about Evolt is his black hole form. I just love, because I like black and whites, and it's just a striking thing. But his black hole form, that's like definitely one of my favorite forms, because I just like the idea. It's like, you see, like I'm not sure what episode was it when he's like, you see the first time you see the black hole form, Evolt's form. It's like you see it cubed, and it's like absorbed in the black hole, and it reappeared, and it's like, that's so cool. I can't think of any other forms. Oh yeah, speaking of forms, of course we've got the movie exclusive one. That's from Be the One, the cross build one. I haven't seen the film yet, so it's gonna be some time until there'll be some subs for that. But the one thing that's really bugged me the most is little features, like this little thing over the rabbit thing. It just bugs me. I don't know. I don't know. Is it like on the other side of the ear? I don't know. It just bugs me. Okay, next we'll talk about the cast, and first off we'll start with the heroes. Of course, let's start with Sento Kiryu. I actually do like him. I would say he's much more of a better hero than Emu, because the reason being is that what I like about Sento is that he's a bit over exaggerated, and I kind of like his little gimmick of scratching the head and the old whoop cow lick sort of pops up, and the one thing I kind of like the idea is I know he's a bit of smart ass sort of thing, of course, character, but the one thing I kind of like the idea of throughout the episodes is how he learned his mistakes and he learns it from it. Case in point, back about that one episode, and this one episode, episode 21, if you know what it is, I think that's one of the most best episodes of Kamen Rider I have seen so far. You see, especially for the actor, I'm not sure what the name of the actor, down here, the name of the actor, I'm going to give props to him. Especially that you see I'm about to say you actually see the first introduction of Black Hazard, and how he suddenly he goes berserk, and that scene when he sort of like kicks the shit out of I don't know if it was Cross's base form, was it Cross's change form, I'm not too sure what it was, but that scene is like running and charging and beating, and the wire work, and especially I think I swear once in that scene you saw the crash mat when Cross hit the floor, and of course Black Hazard kicked him in the air. And then later in the scene when you see he's up against one of the Hagacho trio, and he literally had I don't know what's his name, Owl, or the Stag Beetle dude, and it's like got his hand, and you see like in the background you see Kazmin trying to quickly hurry to his friend, and you hear that silence. The one thing I'll give props for is the sounds. This whole series is deal with sounds. I think I'm going to talk about music later on and sounds, but yeah, it's that sonorous scene. Is like you see Kazumi just trying to save his friend, and then Black Hazard just done the finishing kick, like a sweet chin music style. Back to Bret the Hart music. So, that scene, and then I don't know if it's the same episode. I think it must be, and you see the actor in the scene when he goes back in the scene, he's holding up particular flowers. I forgot what particular flowers was it. Josh the Knight the First mentioned about it. It's about significance, and you see the actor. Wow, his performance is really good, and especially like he was grieving and just it's like what the fuck is what I just did, that sort of scene, and how he's like that one genius scene is like you see the owl dude sort of quick appearance, and he's like thrown up, and he was really giving it all when and then later in that episode when he's confronted with now hang on, I don't know if no you don't notice okay at this point you don't know if Tsurugi was evolved, but I'll say Bloodstock for the moment, and there's a scene when he was about to transform gain practice before the big fight against with Greece, and you see there's that one particular scene that he's just about to transform, and you see in his face it's that sort of confusing conflictedness, and again the sound on that episode, especially when he said, "Are you ready?" and that echo, that ready, it's like yes, that's one thing that you got. That's what makes a good. Most of the time you don't. I think that's what I love about Kamen Rider is that you don't have to have like music throughout the whole thing. I'm looking at you, Power Rangers. Because the thing is, silence is important. You gotta sit down and pay attention, sort of thing. And dude, damn, just that much more impactness to it. And of course, sorry, I was a bit thinking about sound again, but again, I've got to talk about that later. Okay, now Banjo, I like him. He's definitely one of my. I gotta say, he's definitely in my top favorite secondary riders, because my top favorite is that dude from Kabuto, Katak. I'm not sure his name was, but he was awesome. And Banjo, he's a really interesting character, because especially in the beginning, he was a bit of a hothead. Not like say Bakugo hot-headed, and then again he is sort of impatient, but he sort of takes his time and sort of learns the ropes. Fair enough, he is a MMA fighter character, he is, and how he sort of learns lessons of Kamen Riders, especially in the here's a final film. He's sort of like not sure what Kamen Riders is about, and he learns lessons, and he definitely at near towards the end he's sort of there to help Sento when he was down his darkest point of his life moment. Sorry, and it's like the same thing. Oh, remember that? Oh, was it that one scene? It's like Sento was not feeling good, but then Banjo comes in and he sort of encourages Sento because Sento has that guilt, especially his person who was Katsuragi. Katsuragi, if you remember, with Masato Katsuragi from Neon Genesis Evangelion, make it more easier to remember. So yeah, good for Banjo's actor. Sawa, I can't say so much of her. I had a funny feeling going into it. I didn't thought I'd be sort of connected to her, so it's not much to say about her. But of course, she had some help into it. It's like I had my collection. It's like that's in you don't want to know how I got this info. It's a bit iffy, but nah, good for her. Misora, wow, this actress, tops to you. I'm not sure what episode was it. There was an episode that she was getting really upset to Sento. I think it must be before the big fight against Greece, the decisive battle, and the actress herself. Oh my goodness, she is giving her all. Acting skills is phenomenal, especially. It's very a shame for her because she is a very beautiful woman, and I think the best things about her is the crying scenes, especially like that scene in particular. She's like confronting Sento because he told her that if he was going to be berserk again during that that decisive battle, he's about to kill himself. That particular switch he'd been given, he gave her was to kill him, but she was like absolutely hesitant and that actress, and especially later in scenes because of the big final battle about to begin, and the scene with her and Kazumi goodbye, and that's feels. But I'm going to talk about that shortly, about Kazumi in particular, what makes him more special, and in this final episode, and she's of course just crying, and it's like, that's one thing I hate the most about seeing in this media. But I don't want to see beautiful women cry, and she bloody hit me in the core. It's a bit funny actually because of the one thing that make her interesting as well for her is that her internet persona of Mitan, and of course the in the wakes of course the popularity of YouTube stars and their positive messages. Case in point, say like Jacksepticeye's PMA positive middle attitude sort of speech, or Markiplier's speech, and I don't think it's one particular scene when Misora had to appear online and give a speech, and I think it's like a point where from the three countries, the main character's main country, let's see, it's Hagato, Toto, Sato, I think it was Sato. That's it. I mean that's the base. Correct me down below again, Jackson, if it's right or not, but who knows. She gives that speech, and I thought it had of course of the whole thing about Pandora's box, and of course this chaos happening, and Misora is like the hope, and she gives that sort of hopeful speech sort of thing, and that's something. But yeah, definitely props to her. Next we'll talk about is surprisingly Rogue, aka Gentoku. Now, Gentoku is a very interesting person. Very interesting character development, because Gentoku is an oddball, actually, because I like his character. That sort of the reason he was bad, because he just wants to make up for the country and just make the country strong as it want to be. Not like full-blown terrorists, but of course then he got bad when he becomes rogue. It's interesting, of course, later on he becomes part of the team and becomes good. Now, there's one thing I'm going to give my gripe. This is one of the two gripes of Build. What is the deal with Gentoku and the shirts? I don't know, it's like 20, I think it's like 20 or 15 last episodes to it, and he decided to do this and he becomes like a comedic character of all the shirts. Case your point, earlier on, he's even with the yes and no shirt sort of thing. I don't know, it's like come out of nowhere, and it's like no explanation to it. I thought it might be because of the side effects of the Pandora's light that happened for the like everybody else, because it's like everyone was affected with Pandora's light, and everyone's personalities comes a bit much more power hungry. That was the only thing I know there's a sort of explain was the Rogue spin-off, like he goes to the karaoke and he had like a maraca and a jingle thing, so there's that. I know, I think it's like a complete like culture shock, shell shock to see like him like wearing his sort of lavish outfits, like wearing like a like some sort of Chinese style hat and a cloak and like a pink shirt with a pink highlight, and it's like, what the fuck are going on with you, dude? I thought it was like the side effects of Pandora's light, but no. I know, maybe it's just trying to like comedy and something just for the children, especially this whole bloody chaotic and grim sort of thing to it. But oh shit. No, but in the end, when he sacrificed his life, and of course he in that second to last episode, his visor break, and like there's a complete tokusatsu tradition. I don't know if it's mostly just Toei, that sort of the traditional cracked side eye, and of course you see the actor inside the helmet sort of thing, but that's something. But Gentoku is a very interesting one. Now Kuzumi, he is a very interesting one. He's definitely one of my favourite characters. It's like of course because of the actor appearing in it, one of the scans, I thought, hang on, I know this actor. Wait, that guy, he's from Kiva. Yes, it's believe. Oh, I'm going to butcher his name. I know. Down here's his name, but it's great to see that actor again, because if you know Kiva, Kiva is one of my favorite, yet another favorite of mine, and that actor is absolutely funny and awesome in Kiva. It's a bit funny actually, because I didn't know what he's from anyone else, but I was a little bit worried, because I know that back in Kiva, it's very comedic he is, and he's a little bit of a ladies charmer, which comes to play in Build, funny enough. That in the episode, the early episodes he appeared, he's sort of like very stone cold, serious and determined, that sort of thing. But then he sort of like we saw her pass by, and it's like, wait, I know you. And I thought, hang on, is it like a childhood friend, that sort of thing? But then he got the phone and he's like, yeah, it's definitely her. And it's Mitan on the phone. And he smiles and he goes completely, that cuts his moan. It's like, yes, my man is back. And and judging, and I saw like video diaries of the cast, and that actor in particular, he's very expressive in his features sort of thing. And I think I saw one clip in particular is like he was doing like actions, and he's literally showing it to his two of his youngest daughters, and that's just so cute. And I just find it really funny that the whole series of him trying to woo Misora, especially the body pillows, and trying to, it's like was it like a towel? Yeah, I think it was like a towel. He's like it's like I'm not gonna be that kind of pervert, and of course you see like mini versions of him popping up. It's like, yeah, do it, this is your chance, and then it's like that actor is just brilliant, and And of course, his relationship to the Hakujo trio, I know. I knew for a fact like the Hakuto trio could be expendable. I'm not sure, but especially the first kill, the owl, that was much more effective, cost, especially that episode. But the other ones, I thought, yeah, they're gonna die, and that's gonna be pretty predictable. But of course, that weighs on the character, and of course, their guilt. But he makes it up with determine and protect his homeland of Hakuto, and that is something. And of course, and that comes to strike number two. No, strikes are still awesome in this series, but for number two, that one really rubbed me off. It's like people and the fans really wanted Kazumi to gain another upgrade, but the upgrade just happened to be two twin breakers, which funny enough, I actually do like the standby sound effects I actually got in my MP3 player. Sorry, and it's like that sort of cool clubby sort of music, and that's awesome. That's a bit lame, really. But of course, then we see the appearance of Grease Blizzard, and well, of course, one arm is basically just the robot form arm, and just repainted sort of thing, which I'll get to very shortly about repainting. This is when it comes to also about the Misora and Kazumi, and I think I find this one much more heartfelt than say. It's a bit funny actually, because the actor back in Kiva, he sadly died too from that series. I'm not sure what episode was it, but you see Maya, and you see him, and you saw like the actor sort of did the old drop of the arm, and he's blinded like he's dead. But this one is like it's funny because just before I watched this episode, it's like I watched someone mentioning about how Misora and Kazumi don't say their actual names. It's like Misora called Kazumi in Greece, and Kazumi called Misora Mitan. But that person mentioned about how if they actually say the actual names, it much more break them. That sort of person that hit the most sort of thing, and of course Misora's actress is giving it all, and of course Kazumi is it hurts me, because especially the second time I've seen this actor died, or the actor playing this awesome character dying on screen is like, oh bro, respect, man. Also, he died with his love interest by his side. He doesn't have to pay Dolak. Oh my goodness, that the scene was like after the Grease match, it's like he confronted Misora, and it's like, you're Mitan, and it's like, and he gives that sort of comedic classic comedicness, and it's like I'm 29 years old. Can I shake your hand? And of course I was like, okay, how much does I need to give a handshake? It's so much that. He's definitely one of my favourite characters. Okay, who else is any good? No. Okay. No, talking about the villains. Well, okay, I could probably say Utsumi. He's not much of a villain, but for the series, he was a bit on and off for me, because of it's a bit funny actually, because the scenes with that's involving the the cane break, and even the last episode you see him trying to do the mimage cane break with a metal post. No, not metal post, like a gurney or whatever it is. You see him like stuck in buildings. Yeah, he's the old stooge, that sort of thing, and trying to do everything for because he was part, especially for Sawa as well, more to her, but it's a bit funny actually, because the one thing I did inspect, was it on the third to last episode, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was the third to last episode. It's like we actually find out that Utsumi is a robot or cyborg or android or what it is, and of course this paybacks to the classic Showa writers, and of course the majority of them were actually cyborgs. Let's say like Amazon, he's just a control with magical powers, that sort of thing. And it's funny actually, because it just does remind me of a clip from the Dragon Ball, the early days of Dragon Team 4 Star, with the Dragon Ball clip of hang on, let's just play that clip very shortly, quickly.
And I'm a robot. What a twist!
Yeah, that scene, for example, it just reminded me of that. It's like very sudden, but it's been funny actually, because of in the intros when you hear like Sento and Ryu talking about mostly talking about Utsumi, and it's funny because it sort of like joked about Utsumi being a robot sort of thing, and surprisingly it's like, oh okay, he is a cyborg, and of course they mentioned that he was a robot cyborg after the events of him getting shot in the shoulder. But however, he sacrificed himself to save Gentuko and Sawa, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was Sawa. Yeah, well, it would make sense because she died for Sawa and other number of children. So let's get to the villains. Let's start with saying about the Rimicon, the Engine Bros, or whatever I've forgotten they call them. The villains themselves, they're not great, but like I mentioned, I like the Gears motif, but their characters is just some expendable villains, that sort of thing, so there's that. But let's get straight to the main villain himself, Evolt. Evolt was a really good villain, and he's I kind of like the idea is like, of course he's not, and one thing I gotta give props for this villain in particular is like, he's not like your typical villains like, I'll destroy everything I want, ha ha ha, the satisfaction. But no, the reason he wants to destroy each of the planets is, of course, established in the episodes, is like each planet he destroys, he will literally become stronger. It's like he will gain like gauntlets or something on his shoulders, sort of thing. It's like an additional part to himself, and that's really interesting because like the second last episode, he literally destroyed the moon, and he managed to got like this sort of things on his shoulders. It's a bit funny actually, because one of Geet's forms is form of drive, and he's got like similar shoulders as well. So but back in the very beginning, it's like we thought when we first thought when he was Bloodstark, and it really was interesting to see a mentor becoming a villain. But of course, Evolt takes the appearance of he was possessing Tsurugi, but then later he takes such appearances but he mostly takes the appearance of Tsurugi. And there's one thing I kind of like about this particular bit. I like the idea he's sort of like relaxing. He's like, yo, and that sort of relaxing, and he sort of sits down and laying down. It's like, and he's sort of like, even like once he was like crossing his legs and just like, okay, and he's sort of that sort of relaxed and cheerful, and that one makes it more not interested, like, oh, big and scary, that sort of thing. And I definitely would say that Evolt is definitely one of my favourite villains. Okay, so let's see. We have talked about the majority of the cast. Now let's talk about sound. I mentioned about the whole use of silence, and especially the episode, and especially when after a good example. I mentioned about episode 21 and how they used like silence, the echoes, and one thing I was like expecting from the third to last episode is like when Misora comes up and talks to the guys in like Kazumi's death, and you hear that sort of silence, but you hear that sort of very faint echoes, and of course, and when Evolt comes in, breaks that silence. It's like, damn you, Evolt! I was expecting, okay, maybe that's the third damn part. It's like you could probably like end that episode, but lucky enough, when the episode ends, it's when you see the full bottle and it sort of fades on that Grease Blizzard bottle, and okay, that's good enough. And for the music, there's definitely some good musics, and the Be the One opening one is, I definitely say, is yet another thing to add in my favourites of openings. That music is like clubby, interesting, and just sort of like feels good sort of thing. Bit funny, even like okay, that's Rubber Tuck Sparkling. Now I'll go straight to the Max Hazard one, and of course it's gonna be very limited. The music is awesome, and like I said about the funniest thing is that even like the summer film of Be the One is the name of the title of the Kamen Rider opening, and we expect that's a really awesome song. It's a bit funny actually because I didn't hear any news yet or sample yet, because usually there'll be some like 40-second samples of what the at least 40-second samples. Sorry, the drink is really starting to affect me. Then again, this is the Black Hazard one, and then again, this is halfway. That's one thing you gotta do about these drinks. It's like you start off very small, and then later you start to build up. But then again, I got like roughly an hour until I'm gonna have to make dinner, so I have to be cautious. So music, yeah, really good. I'm gonna have to get props there. Anything else I could talk about? Okay, now let's talk about the whole episode through. Let's see. Yes, this series deals with like not too heavily on the politics side of it, but it definitely issues with like war and that sort of thing. And one thing I'm gonna give props and like kind of like the idea with like the whole full bottles concept is like there's an episode literally they talk about why is the full bottles like organic and inorganic. It's like they're mentioning about like I don't know, I think it's like Tsurugi or Bloodstark or Evolt talking to Sento's dad, saying like he mentioned about when he Evolt was possessing Tsurugi, he's sort of like think in your mind of what is something that's relevant for you and which can be destroyed. So I'm just thinking, hang on, how's that so? And I then look at my list and thinking, okay, so saying like Tucker and Gathering, you could probably destroy with that, of course. One thing I'm a little bit confused the most is saying like Pirate and Trains. I know, maybe pirates will take the travel, that sort of thing, and so forth and so forth. And that's some mixed ones like Shark and Motorcycle. So the whole idea is like I don't know if I said this very. It's hard to tell when you especially that sort of drunk. The idea of what is you love which can be destroyed. The whole love and destruction sort of thing, and that's really good. That's one thing I like about these so short, these sort of shows. Is the deep thinking to it, and that's what exactly I want to do for my future projects. Is that sort of deep think, meaningful behind the said circumstances, if you don't get my drift, sort of thing. So, yeah. And I forgot what was it. There's a scene when Katsuragi fully possesses comes control with Sento, and he confronted Utsumi, and how Utsumi is sort of debating with Katsuragi, saying like you wanted this, and because of course Katsuragi fought for the best, but he was wrong, and of course that comes back to with him with Sento. And although that Katsuragi is very fought for the best, but this is what makes really interesting series like this. It just makes you think and appreciate, and that deep thinking. But the problem is that like that again, this is what I like about Kamen Rider, is that sort of must understanding and much more mature than say Super Sentai. Well, then again, there's a time when Super Sentai was in that maturity, but of course they had to tone it down because they had to make it just for Power Rangers sort of thing. The final battle, the final battle was really interesting. It does, funny enough, it does sort of remind me like the last episode of Gurren. Oh crikey, gotta be careful because the plugs there. Like that last episode. There's one thing I was a little bit dreading about these Kamen Rider episodes is like you don't see the upgrade appearance ever again. Cause I'm looking at you, Ghost. It's like I was like, it's been a while since we last seen Rubber Tank Sparkling, because I was a little bit dreading about that in X8. But however, X8 because especially was it Mighty Brothers Double X, because I was worried we're not going to be seeing that form, but they bring it back for a story plot, which is very interesting. Okay, back for in this final battle, and you see Bill's up against Evolt, which I thought he might actually go back into his phase 1 black hole forms, but no, he's still stuck in his true appearance, his final form, the whole Dragon Ball thing. And there's one thing I can't give props for, again, for that final battle is related to Gurren Lagann. It's like no, correction, because in the episode you don't see the genius form, because in the previous episode last week, it's like the genius bottle is gone because of you used up to do the drop this down. Drop this down. Careful. Because when they're trying to do the whole world colliding sort of thing, and of course you see like the genius full bottle is gone. It's like they used up the energy once came out from Pandora's box, and of course Sento is using Rabbit, and then I was low at course we see Tank, and we see Tank, and then we see Rabbit Tank sparkling. And it's like, yes, I wanted to see that because that's definitely one of my favourite forms. And of course it takes an effect and really good action. And of course we back to the build form, the Rabbit Tank form, and especially like that sort of that term. And then of course that's what I again back to Mount Gurren Lagann. That's one thing I would love to see if they do something similar to that. And that's one like back again in the final episode. It's like you see like the digress from the powerful to the weaker to the base sort of thing. Although that Gurren Lagann, especially the final form, you see like the Tenken Rumpa, the Topper. I've forgotten the full Japanese one. It's like Tenken Rumpa, Tenken Topper, Gurren Lagann. That's it. Turn back to the moon base, to the ship, to the normal size, and then to the head form, and especially the final attack form. But of course that's another spoiler for Gurren Lagann. The two worlds merged, and it was a little bit concerning because they said that the whole world merging of these two worlds, and that's one thing that's a little bit cautious about. It's like they established in Heisei Finals, like I've forgotten which riders was it. Was it Oz and Forze? I think it was, lived in the same world, and I would imagine they were popped into the dimension by Decay's dimension hop. So hopefully they survive. So once the world collide, I had a funny thing in the back of my mind. I knew we're gonna be seeing Kazumi and the Hakuchai trio and Utsumi and Gentoku again, and of course we see said casts and like where like I mentioned in my final thoughts of X-Aid, is like, where are they now? The scenario, and oh shit, spill my drink. Oopsie daisy. It's funny actually because we see Banjo reappearing again. He mentioned it's like, hang on, there's a dark haired version of me. It's like must be your actor with the dye hair, and it's a bit funny actually. Speaking of the last episode, no, hang on, we'll talk about the final episode. And throughout the this episode, there's certainly callbacks from early episodes. It's like there's a scene when Banjo saying like no, Sento mentioned to Banjo about smiling beneath the helmet sort of thing, and he brought that back in the final battle, and in the in the last minutes of the episode, we see Sento mentioning Banjo with the old zip, and it's like just before the fight with Evolt, and it's like nice little reminder. So, and in the end of the after the credits roll, and Sento and Banjo literally start recording their prologues for the narrate of the beginning episodes, and I thought, hang on, I might have to go back on the episodes and saying whether or not they actually say the exact same lines from episode 2. So that's that. It's like it's like they mentioned 49 episodes, and I'm like, wait, 49 episodes, but it's just very but props to them. But all in all, how the episode ends up is really good. And now I just discovered it before recording this, it's like there's been news now. It's like there's literally is a hyper battle DVD feature with Rogue, and we see for Rogue, with that he's gonna have the which basically is a repainted, redone version of the Rabbit Tank full bottle. Sorry, the Rabbit Tank full bottle. Sorry, I need to get that right. And of course, basically, and of course he can do the old break up and just insert into the build driver, which oddly enough is a bit odd because Rogue is basically using the slush driver, but he used the build driver. As I digress, but although the appearance of the Prime Rogue form, which I actually do like the golden version of it, and the cape, and of course capes are cool. So there's that, and there's a free cinema of Cross. I forgot what's it actually called. Judging from the last time I seen it, it's like Build New World or something like that. Basically a Cross spin-off film, which I think see him sort of getting used to his surroundings on this new world, and also not just that, but also see the like a repainted version of the Genius full bottle, and there's like something like a black hole appearance because it shows the Evolt's black hole logo stuck up. So I don't know if I had to guess, it may be basically a repaint of the black hole version, perhaps. So there's that, but I'm not sure how long it'll be. It's hell. I'm still waiting for the subs for the of course the Rogue spin-off 3-parter. So I need to get my hands to watching that. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it with Kamen Rider Build, and it's been a really good fun, and it's definitely worth a watch. So give a toast to this and saying thank you much guys for on the cast and crew of Kamen Rider Build for yet another year, another outing of another Kamen Rider series, which I need to get, which I'm not too sure if I get the subs because some of the DVDs I got is very bad subs, so who knows. So here's you to the cast and crew of Kamen Rider Build. Despite the fact this is very alcoholic. But now, as I mentioned earlier on, I meant to talking about Kamen Rider Zio, and now this is what I'm going to do for next week, because I'll give my first thoughts on Kamen Rider Zio. And now this is when I mentioned back on the Tokusatsu, a top 15 of women of Tokusatsu, about my thoughts about it. Now for this, I'm a little bit skeptic about, because it's another anniversary episode series, which I'm very skeptic about, because before I watched Decade, I had so much negativity about it, and I watched the episodes, and wow, it's unpleasant. Honestly, if you guys like Decade, that's fine. So I don't know, judging from the actor who's going to play him, was it Shoto? I think his name is. Hang on, quick look on the internet. I usually don't do these sort of quick lookups on the internet because of I usually script it. Shogo, that's it, Shogo. Judging he might be a very timid character, and he's much more but he's got that sort of right sort of justice to him. But okay, so before I get straight to Zio, let's talk about what the premise of Zio is. So judging from the trailers we see, is that in 50 years time, there's the Demon King of Zio, and funny enough, he does like sort of remind me like Kamen Rider Sorcerer from what's that, the Magic Land one, the Alice in Wonderland episode film, and he rules the I know it's a bit odd actually now I think about another ruler of the future. It does. I'm having like decay deja vu, which I'm gonna get shortly, and of course time travel is happening. Of course, this is like literally it's like the second time a time traveling series occur. Case in point, like Den-O, but Den-O deals with very limited time scale because budget reasons. But the main girl from the series. Oh God, from his name, because her name is like just like that chick from Excel World. It's like Ki. Okay, this is gonna be difficult because again my Japanese sucks. Tsukuyumi. Tsukuyumi. Travels from 50 years in the future, going back at the time of 2018 to encounter Shogo, main lead, who's gonna be Demon King. And I'm using quotation marks very shortly because I will explain very shortly. That's what my play thing of explain very shortly sort of thing. So she encountered him and she said that you're gonna be Kamen Rider Zio and you're gonna be the Demon King in the future. But however, she such I think one of the plots is that she was planning to kill Shogo to see the future, but she believes that there's some good justice in Shogo. And that actually leads to our secondary rider of our series of Geats, because I thought it would be Gates, but Geats is in G-E-I-Z. Was it? I forgot what the German word for it apparently. And we introduced our secondary rider called Gaku. Hang on. Gaku, yes, it. Our secondary rider Gaku, and I got shortly about the scenes, and of course he is a part of that chick's group, and he was there just to kill Shogo to see the future because he encountered the Demon King Zio in the future, and of course thanks to the plot, and now they're both both the three of them, well, the chick and Gaku is living in the apartment above Shogo's uncle's place, who runs a clock significance, and not just those particular people from the future comes back. There's also, which most likely be the villains or the antagonists in this series. It's called the Time Jackers, which involves with three members. That was Wool, Aura, and Schwartz. And the reason for because what I heard from this the plot is that the Time Jackers is a resistance group, yet another resistance group against the Demon King. But however, they've got a particular aim and goal for why exactly they're going back in the past. I'm just going from the plot synopsis is that their aim, the Time Jackers' aim for such the three members of this group, what they're going to do is they're going back in time and they're going to replace a certain rider which the kaijin in this series is called Others, which is known as Other Riders, and so far we've seen like pictures of Other Build and Other Ghost, but Ghost is just obviously judging from the design, it looks like something from one of those stage performances, but what they're gonna do is they're gonna replace the main riders with these particular other riders, which they're gonna control this particular other rider become king, so they can control the future. Time is very wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey, but lucky enough, I can understand that clearly compared from Deno. I know, you may hear from that, it's, my interest in Deno is not that greatest, of course, they're milking it, especially for the margin, our favourite, for margin, not minus the fifth one, which no one talks about, but yeah, that's actually a good aim. But of course I mentioned about Wool and Aura, but there's also Schwartz, which I might have to come back very shortly for a prediction about it, and there's another person introduced called Wars. I think they're actually going to go with that, who mentioned it, who sees the outcomes. And the one thing I'm a little bit skeptic the most, what I saw in the synopsis, it mentioned that he's a prophet, and I'm like, oh crap, don't tell me who I think it is, because Decade has a particular prophet in that series, and he just goes around. But I will drop the series if that war, I don't know, maybe it might say it was a callback from Decade, but if Wars says the words, this is all Zio's fault, I'm dropping it because I've forgotten the name of the character from Decade. His name down here, down below, because that character in Decade was frustrating. He was, but no, I don't want to dig the hole very shortly, but I would think. I mean, this will actually lead for my my predictions for the later for the series for both for Zio. It could either be the demon king, the evil demon king could either be Wars or Schwartz. Schwartz, I think I heard that he's the leader of Timejackers, the group. So who knows? Then again, actually the I think the line best sums up with the whole time motif about it. It's like, actually, now I think about it, it's what's that line of from Back to the Future? It's like the time is unknown. It could be anything you want it to be. That sort of thing. You could look on YouTube for that Doc Brown speech from Back to the Future 3. That sort of line, for example. So, and of course, when I was up in London, I saw like basically a clip it from the Be the One, and it shows Zio's debut, and you see the first appearance of the armor time forms, and of course we saw the one of many, which I need to get back actually, the whole forms. When you see the first time you use armor time and its build, it's like armor time, and he like sort of kicks it, and he turns and the armor places to himself. Because judging from the pictures in the magazines, is that he he turns into the X-Aid form, which I saw them like earlier on. We'll definitely be seeing Sento and Ryu, and not only that, we're also going to be seeing Emu and Hiro make an appearance again. So that's great, but not just them, but Gates, I think it was. Sorry, my German's not that great. Geets, I don't know, my pronunciation sucks. He's definitely got Drive and Ghost forms. So I don't imagine we'll be seeing Shinosuke or Takaru. Thankfully, we're not going to see Takaru and constantly monologues saying like, "My name is Takaru, but 18 years old." that sort of thing. Which, funny enough, both the main actor Sento Shogo, and the main actress, Gaku, they're 18 years old, so that would make sense for this special anniversary. So I'm just a little bit skeptic about what Zero is, because the last time they did it with Decade, and Decade had big issues, especially that with so much of the low ratings that happened, especially like in the 20th-ish mark of the episodes, they introduced the which would soon later be Decade's final form, which I thought would be obviously his power up form, but then in the episodes they've seen introduction of show riders. We've seen like Amazon and Black RX. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fart moment for a moment. So, and I thought they might try to introduce some of the show riders, but I know, I think I had a funny feeling that they might most likely just focus on the hearsay riders, because this is literally the 20th anniversary of the hearsay generation, the era. But of course, this particular series will be special because of this is gonna be the final, because they literally introduce a poster of the Kamen Rider Heisei Forever, and that's literally gonna be the final Heisei Kamen Rider, because I think it must be like next year that they're gonna be the new era of Japan is gonna happen. We're still not too sure who's gonna be take the role, because I thought the whole idea that Showa and Heisei was like named after the emperors, but apparently the I've forgotten Heisei was pursuing peace. I know. Correct me down here down below what Heisei is, but I'm not sure what Heisei is. But I'm not sure what the next one's gonna be. But it's definitely gonna be take some significance. But I'm not sure when it comes to April. That's what's gonna be once the Emperor of Japan is gonna be oh god, what's that word when they step down the crown. I don't know how long the Showa Emperor reign happened, but definitely for Heisei, it was definitely in the 90s, because I thought, you know, it's like, I don't know, correct me down below, again, man, this is going to be fun for editing later on, down below, what, when did the Heisei era started? Because it's funny, because the original creator of Kamen Rider, Ishinori, was alive during the 90s, but obviously he died after, was it Shin or Zo? I'm not, no, not Zo, not Zo, Zero, Zero. I don't know which is which, but of course that's when I don't know when Kuga started. I don't know if he started in 1990 or 2000. I'm not entirely sure, but after that, because of we're talking about the TV series, and the last one we have on the TV series was Black RX, but apparently that Shin, Z Cross, no, not Z Cross. That's that anniversary special. Was it from Shin, J, Z0, I think it was. They don't class as Heisei, but they're TV, they're movies, but they still class as Showa. I know, very confusing it is, but anyway, back to about Zio. So I don't know what to expect for Zio, but what I'm just gonna say is that for Zio, please don't suck like Deno, because I know that most people don't like it, but then again, I know there's a fan base who likes Decade. Fair to you. This is just my opinions only. I do not like it. If you like it, fair to you. More power to you. So who knows? So I'm just slightly tipsy, of course. I'm surprised at how bloody potent this bloody hang on, how much is this bloody vodka is? 37.5. Yeesh. That's like costs about like what, £5 or £6 in the shop. So then again, I could probably get myself like the proper stuff, but then again, that stuff is like expensive as AF. Well, I'm doing like the whole I don't know. I'm just rambling as usual. That's one thing I've got to mention about Zio is that I think most likely be, judging from the scans, that Zio's special upgraded form involves with Decade, of course, because Decade is the first 10th Heisei rider of the whole thing, and of course that features a little special add-on sort of thing, because of course judging from the now this is the one thing I'm a little bit confused about, is the belt's name of the belt, which Zio and Gates could be using, it is called the Zoo belt or the G belt, because it's just like it did when with Ultraman G'd or Z'd or C'd, because of their pronunciations. Bit of confusing as flips, because of what you do is, of course, you put the main rider belt, sorry, the main rider watch into the first slot, and you put the particular rider watch add-on sort of thing, because it seemed like plenty of trailers of seeing both the main rider, well, of course, Shogo, Zio, he put the his thing in, and you see like his sequence, and his sequence, that's one thing I like about these henshin scenes in particular, is that there's things like, of course, you put it in action like that, and the one thing I like the most when they like do like another shot, like do an action, and Zio does this like that, and he goes henshin, and then do a certain action, And of course, one thing I like the most about the Zoo belt in particular is like you can flip it 360 style. And funny enough, because Gates, he had to put both hands into it and just flip it manually. That's one thing I like the most. That's one thing. It's case in point. Look back in Ghost. It's like Takaru and Makoto, I think his name was. Because I had like different sword styles, especially. That's the whole idea about different riders, like different sword styles. But in the last episode, we see a preview of Zio, and we sort of see a glimpse of what will be the transformation sequence for Shogo's henshin sequence. But of course, we didn't do the that and then flip it to the 360s. Like the one thing that I like the most about these particular belts, just like the tunes, especially like Zio. It's like Kamen Rider, that sort, and Gates, that sort of auto tune is like Kamen Rider Gates. Okay, I'm gonna play a few sound examples of both the name calls.
Kamen Rider! Kamen Rider!
Like that, for example. It's like now it's like, oh, don't tempt me. Want to get this bloody belt, because that's what I like about again the whole. That's a really actually cool action sort of thing, because of course I got myself the XA belt. I'm just literally crossing over there from my shelf full of collectibles. So I got the gamer driver and the Sengoku driver and the Kiva belts and the Bugster and Necrom. Of course, I got Necrom. I could just like, oh, I know. I'm just funny. I'm such a big kid. I just love toys. Ugh, that's gonna be fun, especially. Sorry, just so much protein, but there's not that much left of it. But it's nice to end to it. So who knows? I think that's pretty much it for both explain majority of builds. But like I said, go and watch it. And I, of course, I give my sore thoughts on Zio, as long as it don't suck. Please don't suck. And okay, I've gone back from the very beginning. Mentioned about back in the top 10 women of Tokusatsu. Like I said, I really want a female main rider, because we have a main. Of course, the main lead now is gonna be a male, but of course, expecting. Of course, I mentioned about the whole Doctor Who female. Actress and and then again, Toei doesn't want to take the risk. Again, I have to watch the clock, and I literally got like minutes until I had to cook for dinner. So I think I might as well end it right here. So hang on, might as well. There's literally the last bit of a drink left. So and see, the next video, of course, like I mentioned, is gonna be my first thoughts of Kamen Rider Zio, and so lucky enough, I'm gonna be sober. I'm gonna be drinking that. I'm not sure when that episode is gonna be airing online, so who knows. So before I finish this off, my last drop of half of vodka and half of Pepsi Max. That's rich, because I'm gonna drink the rest of that for this entire week off from work, which I planned this off, so that's good enough. So for my last drop, I'd like to say thank you much, guys, for the cast and crew of Kamen Rider Build, and especially for you actually have the time the space and time actually watch this series. And I'd also like to say thank you much, guys, for you particular people who watch this, for me, a fellow Tokusatsu fan and Kamen Rider fan and such to watch this series fully. But I'll hope to see you guys next week for Zio. So cheers that. Yep. Alrighty then, guys. Thank you much for watching. So think G, and I'll see you guys next time. Ta-ra!